Hello, magandang araw. Are you craving to learn something new today? Then it's mealtime. Math explained, apply to learn time. For today's lesson, we are going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. These are the steps in solving quadratic equation using factoring. To start with, I'll be giving you examples on how to solve and find roots of these quadratic equations using factoring method. Then afterwards, you are going to try to answer the different activities that I'll be giving you. Let's solve quadratic equation by factoring. Solving quadratic equation by factoring means we are looking for the roots of the given equation. So our given is 6x squared is equal to 9x. First thing that we need to do is to make the right side of the equation equal to 0. So we're going to use addition property of equality. What are we going or finding the inverse of 9x to make this equation or this side equal to 0? So that would be negative 9x. So remember to always add to both sides of the equation. So 9x plus negative 9x is equal to 0. Then we are going to rewrite this as one equation, 6x squared minus 9x. Now, given this equation, quadratic equation, we are going to factor. So what are the factors of 6 and 9? X squared and x. So our GCF is equal to 3x. So the first factor of this equation is 3x. So we have there 3x. We divide 6x squared divided by 3x. We have 2x. And negative 9x divided by 3x is negative 3. So that would be is equal to 0. Now, after this, we are going to use the zero product property and make these two factors equal to 0. That would be 3x is equal to 0 and another 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then we solve for the value of x. So in this case, 3x, even if we multiply it with 1/3, that would be 1/3. So that is x is equal to 0 times 1/3 is 0. So our first root is 0. On the other side, we have 2x is equal to 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. What are we going to add to 3? Because we need to have the constant terms on the right side of the equation. So what are we going to add to negative 3 to make it equal to 0? So that would be positive 3. Again, you always add to both sides of the equation. So this will be negative 3 and 3 becomes 0. So the equation now is 2x is equal to 3. Then we solve for the value of x. We multiply both sides by 1/2. 1/2 times 2 is equal to 1. So that is as 1. So invisible 1. X is equal to 3 times 1 or 3 times 1/2 is 3 halves. So now we have two roots. So that would be x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3 halves. That's it. Okay, this time for our next given, we have m squared plus 3m plus 2 is equal to 0. To solve for this, we need to remember a given trinomial to be factored is we need to get and list the factors of the last term or the third term. What are the factors of 2? That would be 2 times 1 or 1 times 2 and negative 2 times 1 or rather negative 2 times negative 1 is also positive 2. Now, we need to get the sum of these factors. It should be equal to positive 3, which is our second term. So, 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. Therefore, what factors are we going to use? We have positive 2 and positive 1 because this is positive 3. So, we write it as factors of given. So, next, after factoring the trinomial, square root of m, that would be m and m. We have the factors of 2, we have 2 and 1. 2 and 1. Remember, these are both positive numbers. So, after factoring the trinomial into these two binomials, we need to use zero product property for both of the factor. So, that would be m plus 2 is equal to 0, and for another, m plus 1 is equal to 0. And then we solve for the value of m. So, again, additive inverse of positive 2 is negative 2 on both sides to make it equal. So that this is now positive 2 plus negative 2 is equal to 0. So let's just cancel. What we have left is m is equal to negative 2. On this side, we have the additive inverse of positive 1 is negative 1 on both sides to make this equal to 0. So that is cancelled already, or is equal to 0. That is 0 and negative 1 is negative 1. So we now have two roots of this equation, mx squared plus 3m plus 2 equals 0. We have m is negative 1 and m is negative 2. That's it. Okay, for our next example, to be solved using factoring, given x squared minus 3x is equal to 18. If this is our equation and it is not in quadratic form, standard form of the quadratic equation, we need to rewrite it first. Remember, the standard equation for quadratic, okay, for our next given, we have x squared minus 3x is equal to 18. We need to solve this using factoring and to find the roots of this quadratic equation. Before we solve, always remember equations must be in standard form. So, standard form is in ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, we need to write it first in this form before solving. So, using addition property of equality, we add negative 18 on both sides of the equation to make the right-hand side of the equation equal to 0. Then, we rewrite this as 1. That would be x squared minus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. This time, we are going to factor the trinomial. So, again, what are the factors of negative 18? So, let's have here the factors. Let's list down possible factors of negative 18. So, that is negative 3 times positive 9, or negative 9 times positive 3. It should be negative 2. Okay. And then, negative 6 times 3. That's what I'm thinking a while ago. And negative 3 times positive 6. So, or we also have negative 18 times 1 and negative 1 times 18. So, again, we need to find the sum of all this, which is equal to negative 3. So let's add negative 2 and 9. The sum is positive 7. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 times plus 6 is positive 3. At this time, we already found negative 3, which is the sum of the two factors. So this is what we're going to use in factoring. So we write it as a product of two binomials is equal to 0. So x factor of x, when we factor x squared, we have x and x on both sides. Factors of 18, that is negative 6 and positive 3. So these are the factors of our trinomial. Then what are we going to do next? We solve using zero product property for the two equations, for the two binomial rather. So we have x minus 6 is equal to 0, and the other side, x plus 3 is equal to 0. Again, we apply addition property of equality in solving this. We add 6 on both sides. So now is equal to 0. So we have x on the left side and positive 6 on the right side. This one, we have negative 3 on both sides to make positive 3 plus negative 3 is equal to 0. That would be cancelled. So x is equal to negative 3. So we have two roots of the equation. That would be positive 6 and negative 3. We have solved the equation using factoring. That's it. And now, this is your chance to apply what you have learned. Because this is mealtime, after I explained, you need to apply solving. Thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something. It's time for you to apply what you've learned and share this mealtime with others as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more mealtime together. That's all for today. See you again next time. Bye-bye.